Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to work on replacing the battery in one of my older laptops that I've got. It's sitting right here in front of me. I got this Dell Inspiron 7000 series laptop, and once we get into it, depending on what the memory looks like, we'll probably replace the memory on it as well. I think it's got 8 gigabytes of memory. I was thinking we should get it up to 16 megabytes of memory. So I bought the battery kit off of Amazon. I just went and looked for batteries for Inspiron 7000 versions, and then picked one out that was fairly cheap, because I'm going to basically use this out in the hunting stand that I'm building. The one you guys have seen me when working on, the Taj Mahal, I guess I'd call it. So here is the battery itself, and it comes with a little instruction manual, which is kind of nice, I guess. And it also comes with some silica packet to keep the moisture out. It also comes with some screwdrivers and a little tool to pry out the cover of the laptop that we'll get into here in a second, and then 2 little screwdrivers that go with it too, which is kind of nice. I mean, if you don't have any screwdrivers, this would work. But I have, this screwdriver. It's a kit that I've got that's got several different screwdriver types in it. I think it's called iFixit, pretty popular brand. Again, you could also get it on Amazon, looking for it. I'm going to leave the tray out for that, so I'm going to use it for the screws. But this is the screwdriver that I'm going to use, just a little Phillips head on it. So this is the battery that we're going to put inside of it. So all we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. It's got a bunch of screws on the back of it. You can see here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I just take them out, one at a time. They're usually not that difficult to get off. I try to make sure to see if they're the same size, because if they're all the same size, then you don't really have to worry about it. These appear to all be the same size so far. So if they're all the same size, then you don't have to worry about where they go back into it. But if I find one that's a different size, then I kind of like to put it out of the way, close to where it will go back in, so I can remember. So I'm just taking all these out. They do appear so far to be all the same size, which is great. Yeah, I think they're all the same size. So that's all the screws out. The next thing we got to do is we got to pry this laptop apart. And it's nice to give you this tool in the package, so you can kind of get in there and kind of start prying it up, where you can kind of get a hold of it. I'll get this rest of this stuff out of my way here, to see where I can find a spot to pry underneath it here. Maybe I can get into here on the back side. There we go. So that kind of pops up a little bit. And once you get underneath there, you can kind of just wedge this in here and twist it. And you'll see the rest of this will just kind of pop off. There'll be different spots where it's kind of connected, clipped in. Once you get it all off, it'll all kind of come up. And then the lid comes off of it, off the back of it. Here is the battery that's in it. So that's the battery. Here's where the memory slots are in it. This is the hard drive. This is your wireless card. All things that you can replace usually. This is where the CPU is in it. I don't know if you can replace the CPU in this or not. I'm not concerned about the hard drive or the wireless card. I am concerned about this battery, and it's got, looks like 2 of the screws came through the cover into it. And then there's 2 more screws on this side. And before we take those off, this is where the connector is to it. Doesn't look like it's glued on or anything. Looks like it should just pry out. We can get a hold of it here. Should come loose. If not, we can take the battery out and pull it out too. So there's 1 screw here. These screws definitely appear smaller than those other screws. And then 1 screw here. And then the battery should lift right out of here. And that'll make it a little bit easier to disconnect it here, I think. So there we go, the battery's out. And you can see this, maybe you guys can't see, but this battery is like, it's got waves in it, right? It's pretty thick. Battery shouldn't look like that. It should be smooth. This is, it's deteriorated over time. This laptop is probably at least over 5 years old. Set that out of the way. So here is the new battery right here. And you can see this battery is all smooth, like it should be. So we're going to put that, we're going to hook it back up right here. That will slide right into it. That's all hooked in there. And then the battery should sit right back in here. And actually the computer has actually turned on to me now that's got that battery on there. So I'm going to push the button and maybe it will turn back off. So what I'm going to do is, since that did seem to power it up, although it seems to turn back off now, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this battery. One more time. So the battery's disconnected, because I'm going to look at the memory slots here. It's got one chip there. It's got another slot over here for another one. So it's got 8 gigabytes in it right now. Let's go ahead and replace this chip with 16 gigabytes. So I'll put an 8 chip there and another 8 chip on over here of the same type. And then we should have 16 gigabytes of memory in this laptop. It'll probably make it work a little bit faster. So let's do that real quick too. And so the way these memory chips in here work is there's 2 little slots on the side. Just got to pull them apart and it pops up. And you can take that right out. Let's put the new chips in it. So here is one of the 8 gigs. Pops into place there. Here's the other 8 gigs, and you have to flip it over. And you can't get it wrong because the slots in here show you which way to put it in. It'll only go in one direction. Make sure that's good and tight. And that'll bring the computer up to 16 gigabytes of memory. Let's go ahead and plug the battery back in. It kicked back on me again too. You see the fan there spinning. So I'm going to go ahead and put these back in here. But at least that tells me that everything's working, right? Like, it appears like it hasn't had any problems with the memory I put in it. It's not beeping at me or anything like that, so we'll check it out here in a minute after we flip it back over. And then to put the case back on it, you just flip it back on like it was. Kind of line it up there. Should kind of just press in place. All those things will click in again. And it's just a matter of putting the screws back in it. Then when this is done, you'll want to fully charge it. You probably want to fully discharge it. Well, fully charge it till it's 100%, then probably let it set on the charger for a couple of hours. And then you'll want to let it, turn it on and use it and let it get discharged almost all the way to being empty. And then recharge it again all the way back to 100% to get that battery working at its best performance. As I'm putting these screws back in here, I'm just kind of putting them in hand tight. I don't want to over tighten them. Usually they go into plastic pieces. It's usually not going into metal in there. That one's a little loose. That one's pretty tight. There it is. So we got it plugged in now, starting it back up after we put it back together. So now we're back in Windows. If we go to About this PC and see what the memory settings say for it now. So now it says it's got 16 gigabytes of memory in it. So there you go. That's how you change the battery in one of these Inspiron. This is a 7000 series 15 Inspiron Dell laptop. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video. Give me some comments. Tell me what you think about the process about changing out the battery and the memory. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we will see you guys on the next one.